Hello, am I audible?
You are audible.
Okay,
Common.
so let's have a introduction of Dr. Aki Roy first, so that if she can join, and we can start the presentation without wasting any time. Nilanjan, please unmute yourself.
Mute.
Mute.
মিউট হয়ে গেল তো এবার
But the mute, this is mute. এবার unmute আছে।
Yeah, ma'am, you
এবার
are
দেখো।
audible now. You are audible now.
Now you're audible.
Okay, so
Now you're audible. Now you're audible.
okay, just we are sharing our screen. Just a minute. So
Okay.
probably I haven't heard you have given the introduction
And
before.
I am just going to give it. So you didn't miss anything.
Okay.
Now it's all right.
Okay. Now I'm
Okay.
feeling so bad because everybody is waiting. So we have to start now. Nilanjan, please, you people start. Then I'm going to present the
Sure. Good evening and welcome to
Okay.
the
Thank you.
fifth week of talks on various aspects of wildlife and conservation. I am Upamanyu Chakraborty and I will be moderating the session for today for you. In the gala conservation scenario in our country, we often overlook some lesser known taxa which are not that glamorous or some steps behind according to the so-called cuteness quotient. But yes, exactly, they play a very critical role in the ecosystem. Sometimes conservation approach centered to some umbrella species or flagship species tend to have some loopholes, and some are heavily neglected. Their appearance, but some researchers put their effort to conserve them. Today we have such a personality who has been studying spiders since 2003 after the completion of her master degree with a gold medal. She started her research on the group arachnids from Kalani University in collaboration with JDSI, and the thrust for knowledge led her to pursue research even after getting a job and a PhD degree. Her focused area in the role of her focused area is the role of spiders as the natural pest control method and the beneficial features for organic farming and all. So no more delay. Let's hear something from Dr. Rai about some new trivia about spiders. I request everyone to keep your audio off to avoid a noisy streaming and interruption. Please put your questions in the chat box, so we will deal with that at the end. Ma'am, over to you.
Okay. So with this introduction, I'm feeling extremely good to be here in front of such audiences who are listening and all learners, all scientists, friends, seniors, and on nature lover. Today, I'm feeling very blessed that this group of Areni, they have given me an opportunity to share some of the works of mine with you people. Even under this COVID lock unlock situation. Thank you, Upamanyu, for this introduction. So we are going to start our today's highlights. That is Arani, a Devonian creature, eco-friendly in nature. I am giving some overviews from West Bengal because I have done the work and yet I am doing the work from West Bengal. Thank you all and welcome to this talk. Actually, what happened when we start talking with the spider, first what we should think, that is eight-legged arachnid. They are basically predatory in nature and body has no segmentation and their body remain fused and abdomen is almost roundish and they have the prominent fang through which they can inject their poison on their prey. And
You're audible. You're audible. We can hear everything.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. I'm very sorry. I'm feeling so bad, and everybody is waiting, but I cannot make it properly. And I'm giving my word that after having the talk and the discussion with you all people, we are going to send the total presentation to all of you. So please be with me and please just forgive This is a unwanted situation. I haven't expected also. So again, we are going for the presentation like this. Actually, what happened when we go for any sort of work, we see for the group who has immense work on it, or who has the know-how about that group. But this Areni, they are such a creature who have originated during Devonian. If we give a look to the geological time scale, this during Devonian period, this group of organisms, they arose. And from that point, they are yet with fully unaltered body features, along with some of the features which is not found in anywhere else. When we consider the arthropod, we consider insects, because we know insects from very childhood. We are able to see number of insects here and there, but there are some basic differences between the insects and the spiders, that these groups, they have their cephalothorax, that is fused thorax and head, and the abdomen, which bears the specific character, like cephalothorax bears the simple eyes, which are 2 to 8 in number. And when it is insect, they have the antenna, but when it is spider, they lack antenna. Insects bear wings, but here no wings. And along with that, this group having 4 pairs of walking legs and the fantastic spinnerets at the end of their abdomen. So these are the striking features, though I am now unable to give the glimpse of the pictures. And if we give a look to the internal structure, why they are so important and they remain unaltered from very Devonian period till today? Because they have the branched digestive system. They have the sucking stomach. They have their stomach remain expanded even within their legs. So after taking food, they can even go for the starvation more than 6 months. That is one of the unique feature they do possess. Not only that, they have the feature of extracellular digestion. That means they inject their poison via their fang on the prey, and within the prey, they just inject their enzymes and get the food diluted. And through suction method, they absorb all the foods, keeping the exoskeleton intact in the neck or in anywhere else.
Please ask Praveen. I am sharing this from.
But I am in motion, so I'm no. You talk to them, and I'm continuing. And the thing is, they can breed parthenogenetically. What is parthenogenetically breeding? That means they require the male, but even in absence of the male partner, they can breed their next generation. So these some of the features probably has made them so important, and they remain unaltered with all features and all characteristics by which they can adapt in everywhere. Even if we go to the Antarctic, there the spider lies. Under the sea, the spider lies. In everywhere, this areny, especially these spiders, they are found due to their adaptability, due to their specific characteristic features. They maintain their particular characters, and they have the eyes, which has the immense importance when they are nocturnal. Eyes are nocturnal when they are with day periodicity. Their eyes arrangement and their focusing all are like day periodicity. So with this, we want to give a light on that. This group of spiders, they can be grouped under two. One is primitive group of spiders known as Myglomorphae, and another is modern group of spiders, Araneomorphae. More than 90% of the spiders, they are modern spiders. But this Myglomorphae, which includes tarantula-like spiders, and they have the huge body size, and they have the large venom gland, and through them, they can inject venom on their prey. So Araneomorphae and Myglomorphae, that is modern spider and the primitive spider. Today I am going to share some of the experiences that I have worked on both the groups. So I am trying to, and that also we want to give that when it is we are telling the Devonian period, that is more than 380 to 400 million years ago. So this is not a short time of span. This is a long time of span, and crab-like organisms, chelicerae ancestors, probably from there, true spider first arose. And throughout the world, I'm not giving the exact list of the spiders and total families and genera, but to give the diversity what they contain, through if we give a look to the world catalog, more than 128 families, more than 4,100 genera, along with 48597 species are present throughout the world. India is not behind because we know India is one of the cities with more than 60 families with 438 genera and almost 1800 species. And I'm fortunate that I work on Sundarban spiders, and there I have got 23 families of spiders under 72 genera, and I worked with 142 species from Sundarban, which comprises both 24 Parganas, north and south. And some of the works from different areas like North Bengal are also. Actually, if we consider like West Bengal, we can break this part in three. That is, one is exclusive mangrove areas, another is exclusive red laterite soil areas, and the hilly areas. So before going to that, we want to give another thing on spiders, that basically they are either wave naters or non-wave naters. Who are non-wave naters? They are actually jumping in their behavior. In both the cases, they have their silk gland and they can spin by their silk gland. And another thing is, some groups are colonial in behavior and some are sedentary in behavior. And what this in the Shagor Island during my tenure of work. And these wave naters, they spin in different angle, and these nets are so important. They know how to, they are a good architecture.
Ma'am, sorry to
Hello?
interrupt you. Sorry to interrupt you, ma'am.
Hmm?
Can you just go a little bit backwards because of network issues? I couldn't hear anything. So can you repeat a bit like what you said before Shagor Island?
Okay, okay.
Can you
Actually, we are discussing about there are two groups of spiders, like who can wave and who cannot. So wave naters and non-wave naters, we are focusing on these two groups because wave naters and non-wave naters both can spin their silk by their silk gland, but their prey capturing device, their mode of life cycle, everything differs with their nature, that is basic netting patterns. So when we are considering wave naters, most everybody have already probably you people have heard about the Araneti group of spiders, that is with huge number of genus and species under that, that is most striking wave naters, and Salticidae, who are called jumping spider, they are non-wave naters. So why these wave nater and non-wave naters, they are important. Question comes, when they are on the field or when they are on the in the area of orchard or on their prey, how they are predating on their living insect or on their living prey. That is most important. Their mode of prey capturing device, it depends upon their nature of spinning. And one group of spiders, they are known as colonial spider, and probably in the West Bengal we have got only one, that is called Ericidae. This colonial spider, they make a huge net. It looks like a wide areas by their spinning, and from one part to another part they just go through bellowing the area and cover the whole area under which they remain in the colony. And others are solitary in nature. They remain in solitary, they perform like alone or remain in male female or partner, but not in the
ma'am,
group of colony
sorry to interrupt
formation.
you. Hello,
Yes,
ma'am.
yes.
Hello. Sorry to interrupt you.
Hello.
Ma'am, can you see Upamannu's screen? Hello.
No,
Can you,
I'm unable to see.
because
উপমন্যু
he
একটুখানি
is,
অনুপম
ma'am, what it,
দেখো তো এটা বন্ধ হ্যাঁ,
ma'am, just what
হ্যাঁ,
Upamanyu has shared the presentation. So if you take sir's mobile,
fine, fine. Yes,
you can see his
yes,
presentation. You take sir's mobile from him, and you can see,
yes, yes, I have got it.
yeah, and you can direct
Okay, fine,
Upamanyu,
fine,
and
fine.
you can direct Upamanyu to change the slides. Which slide he needs to go
Okay, okay,
with
okay.
respect to your talk. You just tell him
Okay,
which
fine,
slide
fine,
he
fine.
needs to go.
Okay. Upamanyu next. Okay, already we have discussed about the wave nators and non-wave nators. Please next. Next. This is that ADCD spider, that is colonial spider. Next. This is the some non-wave nator spiders who are called mainly salty seeds, and just see the posture, the way they proceed. That is also another, and they are on their own habitat. This is fantastic slide. This is called cannibalism. The first one is called cannibalism. That means same species eating and others with their own prey. Next. Next. This is also with their own prey in their natural habitat. Proceed, please. Next. Next. Upamanyu, kindly proceed. I want to show some of the nets. Just proceed with some of the natural waves of spiders from Sundarban. It has been taken by us during my work, and some of my students, they always remain with me, and they do the thing. Please, Upamanyu, just proceed with the nets, please. These are the habitat in which the orb waving spiders are there. Some trapdoor spiders like lycocytes are there. And this is fantastic spider wave of ADCD, that is a colonial spider. Upamanyu, next. Due to this, I am unable to explain the pattern of wave netting. It is here. If anybody feel like, please feel free to mail me so that I can. Next. This is a prey capturing devices. Wave nators and non-wave nators, they have the different prey capturing methods.
That
And when they have their own prey in their own net, they just remain entangled with, and due to sticky nets pattern, the prey gets entangled and they eat their own prey. And when it is non-wave nator, they have to jump on the prey, and accordingly they have to search for it. And then in both the cases, the prey gets paralyzed, and finally they prefer to have their own prey by paralyzing them, and by external digestion method they go for the suction and take the food of their own. Next. So I'm coming in the distribution pattern that if we consider West Bengal, there are some roundish part. The districts are showing which are under the red laterite soil area with other group of spiders. The most striking spiders are there, that is probably we know as tarantula, the Chilobrachys. I'll give some of the glimpses on it, and another roundish part from North Chobbish Pargana and South 24 Parganas together, that is the Sundarban area which we have. First, I'm giving some of the glimpses of Theraposid spider from red laterite soil area. That is this area, that is arid or semi-arid areas, and where the tarantulas, they are from 19th century, and scientist Pocock first record this group, this Chilobrachys from this area, and they are not all of a sudden they have come and they are sitting there. Not at all. It is their original habitat, and they remain there. But we are nowadays encroaching their areas, for which these spiders are coming out, and man-animal conflict starts. And we went there for work to the Paschim Midnapur, Satyapur area, Ramchandrapur, Marotola, under Debra block, and where we have collected this tarantula spider of Chilobrachys. And in the next, I'm giving some of the pictures. Next, please. Next. This is one habitat I'm showing. This area. So you can understand from where this type of tarantula group of spiders we can get. This is a view of Chilobrachys. It is the living view. And the next, I'm showing some of the pics to give the impression. This is pure nocturnal eyes. So tiny eyes they have with a large body, and bodies with thickly bristles. Next. This is most important. These spinnerets, all group of spiders who are megalomorphy, having 3 segmented spinnerets with tarsal claw, and this is the bristles which they can shoot, and carapace, that is a cephalothorax, bears the pure sign of nocturnal eyes at the front. And this is that fang through which they sting. Chelicerae with fang. This is most important, and that is a male reproductive organ. In search of female, male come out their burrow and go for the reproductive need to meet the female. When they do not get it, they come in contact with the other human beings due to encroachment of their areas, and spiders are also becoming scarce. Next. So this is the area where we have given some of the glimpses of our work. That is a community-based awareness to save the nature, to save the Chilobrachys in their own habitat. We should be together. Glimpses of some of the work. With that, and now I am going to start the Arani fauna from Sundarban, that is exclusive mangrove forest. So this mangrove part, more than 70% are under the Bangladesh cover, and India has 30% of the mangrove area. But yet,
this coastal area is
so vast that we even do not know a little bit of the faunal diversity, including the Arani from Sundarban. I am trying to give some of the glimpses from Sundarban work also. Next. This is the area which is showing in the Upamannu. Next. Upamannu, please. Next. And I'll request Upamannu to show the unique features of the Sundarban forest.
Ma'am, you are visible and you are audible also. And please just direct Upamannu accordingly. He will share the slide. He will change the slides.
Yeah, the unique features of the Sundarban area, their normal view, their low tide, and the situations how run and the lifestyle of some of the parts we have. And this is their one day-to-day work schedule. And these are the ladies throughout the day. They have to struggle. They struggle with life, and that is though unfortunate, but nature is like that. And this is after that some of the pics. And these spiders, the name of the spiders and the genus, that is not important, but I'll request everyone to give a look to the sites so that we can get one approach how Argiope, their net pattern, the signature of their net, then Eriovixia, how do they make their spinning and how do they show their waves like that, and the Tetragnatha, their orientation of their legs and the pattern. And this is the aerial view of leukage, probably Upamanyu is also running with, and fine threads of silks we are. And also I have given some of the glimpses of work starting from 2004 and glimpses of work in Sundarban till date. Who are interested to do the work with that, we have every data with us, like who are the workers who are working in this area and what are the data we are getting, how many families, genera and species are from recorded from the Sundarban. Those are given. I'm going to the next and request Upamanyu to go to the next. And the study area of the Sundarban and their geo positioning also I have given. And next, I'll request Upamanyu to keep the slide on Lothian Island. This is one of the most important island. This is no man's island where no only forest department people and researchers with the permission of the forest department, we are allowed to go there and to work there, and nobody else. I have given some of the pics from the Lothian Islands. Please, I'll feel very good if you see this. And Upamanyu, I hope you are sharing the views of the Lothian Islands. Just see during different season how the workers we work with the Sundarban areas. That for that we have given this pics to share the ecology, share the condition over Sundarban, how tough the work is going over there, how.
Next,
Next, we have divided our study area with respect to two. One is intensive study area, that is Shagor Island. Another is extensive study area. Other spots, I am giving the names, some of the areas which are there. And this, I'll request Upamanyu to stay here. We have divided the habitat under some categories like household inside, outside, orchard areas, plantation, natural forest, crop field, upland, crop field, lowland, and the aquatic. Why we have given the data in this way? As because where the maximum number of spiders are present and why, what do they eat from there, that areas, and what is the diversity of different families in different habitats, that I want to show. The next. Just here is one matrix that the condition plantation from Shagor Island that holds the maximum families of spiders, and Arenidae, they occupy the maximum habitat. That just gives one impression of groups Arenidae has. I have shown some of the pics from Arenidae, that is already Argiope and others, Eriovixia, all are from Arenid group of spiders. Plantation, natural plantation, they are having number of spiders over there. And this is the species diversity, that is where the maximum species diversity are shown. That is again the plantation area. And the next, I am giving the distribution from seasonal variability. We have given the different month-wise pattern of getting diverse groups, presence and abundantly present. That means when we are getting the presence of the spider, but not in up to that range, because of their prey incident, of their presence of the prey in the plantation or in other areas or in the crop field, that is why we are getting the presence of the spider. And next, where we have collected and we have gone for getting the information about this Areni group, and some of them are very important. I'm not mentioning the name of the dominant spider species, but here it is given from different families. The spiders are who are abundantly present throughout the year also. So their adaptability is high, and they are getting their prey throughout the year. So they are definitely polyphagous. Next, I'll request everyone to see the pics from Sundarban spiders. I am giving some of the pics and request Upamanyu to share. That is Larinia. Then all are in their habitat, natural abode. Upamanyu, please click the pics and it will come. One after another, it will come. Tetragnatha is there. Arrhenius mythifica is there. Next, in their whole barrow. Next, this is a fantastic spider cyclosa. Next, Upamanyu, kindly next. Probably you cannot see where the spider lies. At the middle, the spider is there. And this is fantastic camouflage they do make. Next, this is on the tree, the color and the camouflage of Lycosa. Upamanyu, next. This is again Tetragnatha. And during night, we have captured this picture of Neoscona during the work of Ronak Khere in the Sundarban 2018. Next, that is now this leukage, it's spinning at that time. So with that, we have captured the pict. Next, on the leaf, in a relaxed position, the Clubiona sp. Next, there are different color patterns of same species. That is most important. Depending upon their habitat, they can change their pigmentation of same species, same genus, having 13 patterns of their own. And that is another crab spider group of Oleos sp. And just see the posture and the color pattern they have. And this Crossopterygia not in nature, it is also found in the home condition. Next, some other spiders I'm not explaining. Moving, just see the camouflage of Oxyopis. You cannot see, who do not know their niche cannot see the spiders in the field also. Before we cannot also, but day after day this is in air. Just see the view of Hercelia sp. And next, that is a Poltis. Can you guess that this is a spider? Fantastic capture by Ronak Khere from Bhagavatpur. It's impossible to take the decision that it's a spider in their own habitat with fantastic camouflage. The next. This is another view of the Poltis spider with their net. Next. So I have given some of the next. I have given some of the pics from this, and that is under 23 different families, 72 genera, and 142 species recorded from Sundarban, where 32 are new and 33 species are new record from Sundarban. And I'll request all of the listeners who are learners now, if you feel like interest to do work with this group, I'm ready to be with you. And this is a scope. Now question comes, why we will work with this spider? Because yet it is unexplored group, unexplored areas. It has the immense habitat diversity. So we can go for that along with the seasonal variability. And in the mangrove areas, no specific concrete data yet been generated, fragmented work we have done. So my dear students and budding scientists who are here, I'll request all of you who are feeling interest, please come and join with the spider work. And the genomic study yet not been done. That is most important. Now I'm giving some importance of spider. One importance is spider silk. Another is their ecological role. shortly the silk gland. It is, I have given one view of silk gland, how fantastic it is. Continuously they can spin the silk, like the silk saris we wear, we get from the other insect. And use of silk, this is most important. I'll request Upamanu to keep it there, that it is used in catching small fish, neuronal regeneration, and it is used in the as a thread crosses in optical instrument, where it is telescope, maybe in the microscope, and other rifle sights. Cloth making, one of the most important use nowadays, and they also use in the instrument, classical instrument like violin. And from different renewable products are being we are getting out of this silk. I have given some of the important role of the silk. And this is the thing, the role of the spiders in ecology. Actually, they always predate on the living insects, maybe micro insect or macro insect. And even when it is old group of spider, they can predate on large vertebrate, even the small sized bird. And when it is wave netters, they prey on entangled insect. That means which come on their net, they eat. But when it is non-wave netters, either they jump on the prey or scroll towards the prey, or they are ambush on prey. Ambush means suddenly they jump on the prey before prey gets any hint from them. And different group of spider families, they are good predators in the insect pest in the agricultural field. I have worked on it, and during my study, what I have seen, when in the paddy field, the maximum insect attack occur, the maximum number of spider in different genera and family, they are also present in the field. Without getting their prey, they cannot be there. So diversity of spider and their abundance, that is most important. Their abundance remain max when the ecosystem is undisturbed, when it is natural, and when maximum prey in the form of insect pest are present. These carnivorous arthropod araneae, they remain over there, and they never cause any damage to the plant community. That is most important. They are playing role to predate on the insect pests, which are harmful for the farmers but not damaging at all the plant. And different group of spiders, they are visible in the cropland, which helps to check the exponential growth of pest population. That means there must be a point of initiation from where the pest gets abundant, and from that point they will start to predate on those, and immediately they will help to check the growth rate of the pest population to save farmer, to save our crop. And so they can be considered as important biocontrolling agents who can suppress the pest population. I am not telling that keeping only spider in the field, that will be enough. Biopesticides and other biofertilizers we can use, but even after that, if we maintain the natural condition of the cropland, we will get enormous number of spider species over there. And I have the data with me today. In a single talk, I cannot give all the data, who are the species in which crop, but we have with us. If feel like, I'll definitely. In the agricultural field, the number of spider variety and their abundance of pest population, when it remain maximum, diversity of spiders also remain maximum. So this is I have given with respect to paddy cultivation, not only of my work. I have studied different works from different areas. Even in the West Bengal, I have studied on the crop field in the Sagar Island, and from there I have got this. So some of the references I have given, and I'm very thankful that always some of my students, they have beside me. Please next. who are beside me, like Nilanjan, Unmesh, probably they are on the platform also, Arindam, Akanksha, Suparna, my beloved students. They are budding scientists now. And Anupam, I'm thanking him also, along with my friend Subrato Maiti for his photography and immense support given by Mr. Pratap Kumar by providing me the digital and technical assistance. And I have one platform from where I do this type of work now. That is my Wings and Wave platform. That is one area through which we work with spiders and other group of organisms in nature. So next. So in a nutshell, in a single talk, I cannot give all the details of the work, but the thing is, when we are talking about this array, most important thing that why we will select this group for our work. Number one, this is so primitive organisms that they are going to attain the status of living fossil nowadays from Devonian till date. Not only that, due to their unique feature, we need not to culture them, we need not to maintain their population. Rather, they are maintaining our ecosystem in a healthy way. In the plantation, in the cotton field, in the rice field, in the maize field, in everywhere we have the work. No, in from the West Bengal, yet not. On paddy, it is here, but in every field, it has been documented that when the insect pest attack remain max to the field, most probably at that time, for betterment of the cropland, the spider variety remain over there. And as because these spiders never predate on any dead item, they always predate on living creatures, mainly insect. That is the most important role they do play in the ecosystem by maintaining the ecological balance. And we can minimize the usage of maximum pesticides if it is naturally being controlled by the biocontrolling agent like spiders and other groups. So it will be better for us when we can go for the betterment of the crop field and the farmers also, by keeping this natural organism who are very eco-friendly in nature. And with that, I'm sure that if this type of work on this ecological role of the spiders, it will be a better one. So thank you everyone for listening, and I'm very sorry for having these disturbances in my talk. So with that, thanking all of the audiences and the organizers who have given me the chance to share my experiences in front of you. Thank you all.
So, ma'am, we have few questions in the chat box. I am just reading out those for you. The first
Okay, sure.
question
I'm
is
ready.
the first question is from Tisho. He is asking that do somehow the web knitters are more naturally selected than the non-web knitters? Do tarantula group of spiders have any kind of medicinal value? Actually, there are two questions. Web knitters, who are the uh, more naturally selected, the web knitters or the non-web knitters? And the second question is that tarantula group, do they have any medicinal value?
Okay, I'm coming to the second question first. The thing is, I haven't mentioned this spider venom. Nowadays, it is being used in the medicine, mainly homeopathy medicine. There are a number of medicines where spider venoms are successfully used, and also the scientists are using. This is one most important use of spider venom. The second thing is, in case of tarantula group of spider, as they are large in size and having the poison gland larger in size, so they eject more and more poison from their gland. But question comes whether they are in attacking mode or for their own prey, they are just ejecting their material. So depending upon that, the amount of poison they are throwing, that is important. But if we go for the dissection and we are getting the poison, that is another question. But poison, these have immense use in the medicinal field. And the first one is the group which is more selected. Actually, in my experience, what we are seeing that non-web nators and web nators, every group of spiders, they have their own pattern, and both are under the araneomorphy. That is the recent group of spiders and New World spider. And number of successful families from webnators are in the nature, in everywhere, and as well as the non-webnators. The question comes, in case of non-webnators, the challenge is high as because they have to search for their own prey. On the other hand, when it is webnators, they have to depend on when the insect will come and it will be stuck on their net. Only then, otherwise they have to move through their net in search of their prey. So in both the cases, both groups are successful. It's not I don't have any data like that these are more successful or those are not. In both the cases, they are successful in their own life cycle pattern.
The second one is from Mr. Obhigyan Datta. He is asking you that
Yeah.
there is one genus of spider in the West Bengal, those live in colony, and you also said that they are mostly solitary in nature. So, what is the evolutionary aspect of or advantage of that particular group of spider that are being colonial?
Pardon, in between I can't. Please, would you give me once again the question, please?
Yes. What is the
Nilanjan?
evolutionary aspect or advantage of that particular group of spider that are being colonial?
Okay, it's fine. It's a good one. Actually, spiders are not colonial like social insects, but some groups, mainly this Ericaceae, that is known as the colonial spider, and this group is not found in everywhere. They are very specific with respect to their selection of areas where they can get the proper host plant, and they can make their huge net throughout a large area. So in Sundarban, some of the places though I have got, but these most of the spider groups, they are solitary, and some of the groups, they show their aggression, that is also by their solitary membership. But this group only, I have seen in my work, that is the Ericaceae, they have this social behavior. And why, question comes, why this social behavior is shown by them? Actually, from the evolutionary point of view, these group of spiders, they are, other groups are also there, but they have some social behavior, like they make their colony. Within the colony, when we open it, we get male, we get female, we get number of offsprings over there. When they get the proper amount of prey, they never predate on their own spiderlings. But in case of some other groups, when they lack the food, even the cannibalism starts within the offsprings itself. But when it is social insects, they maintain their society and they prefer to remain in colony. And by this colony formation, they are successful starting from their origin till yet. But not the rule, because spiders are not social in altogether. Only few groups show this society behavior.
Thank you. Next question is from Tisho again. Being such a primitive creature, do these creatures face any kind of obstacles due to temperature rise and climate changes?
It's very good question. Actually, Tisho, I have one talk on this climate change. What happened? There are some data where due to climate change is such a thing. In each and every group of organisms, it should have their own effect. Spiders are not out of them. But due to their huge obstacle, they can manage their obstacle, it's true. But in some cases, I'll just request Tisho to send me the mail, so that I'll just give the exact data of some of the group of species with their genus and species, that what changes, either their body size is getting reduced, or their lifespan is getting shortened, or like some of the behaviors they are changing, definitely. And in a single talk I cannot go in detail, but yes, I am accepting the question that due to climate change, spiders, though little, but some group of spiders from different areas, because some biosphere areas are there and some are parabiosphere area. Where parabiosphere areas are there, the organisms require the more adaptation to live with them, and that situation. And this enormous climate change also affects some of the group of the spiders. Not, it is very slow, but it is documented, and I have the data with me that some of the species, their length is becoming shortened, their egg sac cocoon formation is getting changed, like that. In their life cycle pattern, some changes are being documented. If you feel like, I'll definitely send the data. Yes, it's true.
Yes, sure, ma'am. I will definitely contact you through mail. Thank you, ma'am, for this very much interesting and very informative talk. Sure, I will contact you through mail.
Definitely, I'm glad to.
Okay, ma'am, I have a question.
Yeah.
A story behind that, I saw a Neoscona from central India during my field work, and I saw that
Okay.
wave at night, and I thought that I will photograph it on the next day. But surprisingly, it was not there at the daytime. Again, at night, I saw it and in the same place, making in the wave again. For next consecutive few days, it kept making that wave at the dusk and retrieving it at the dawn. Can you please put light on this behavior of Neoscona?
Yes. It's fantastic. Not only Nilanjan, you, even we, and probably Ronak is also listening. Maybe Suparna and Nilanjan, you were also with me in the Pune field. The thing is, in case of aranid group of spider, especially Neoscona and other, who start their spinning from evening. That means from afternoon, they takes 3 or 4 hours to complete their netting, and after that they will wait at the center for getting entangled prey on it. But with this enormous effort, they make their wave in such a way, it's a huge one also. And if they feel like that next day, they can withdraw their own net. That is also another unique feature found within the wave netters, and it is very much prominent in Neoscona. From Sundarban, I have got this. From Pune, I have got this. Niranjan, also you have seen. That means this is also their unique feature. Once they can reel off their silk from their spinnerets, from their silk gland, they can make their good, they have the good architecture pattern, and this is called signature pattern. When we do not get even the spider in the net, by seeing the net pattern and their threading pattern, we can identify which species must be here or the genus. And in the very next day, if they feel like they want to change their habitat, they want to shift their habitat place, naturally they will just again they will just withdraw their own net by chewing the net. And this is also another unique feature found in the spider group. And how do they, it's not known to us also. Maybe in future it will be.
So that whole net will be digested by the spider, and again a new net will be designed.
Absolutely, whether they will digest or they will keep it in like that, it is not decided yet, and no work specifically on that as per my knowledge goes. But they can withdraw totally the net, they can withdraw. That is most important. In screen, I'm seeing Akanksha Paul is asking how we can identify the spider in the field. I want to give the impression for the newcomers who want to start with the work on spider. The first thing, you have to set your eyes that how we will learn to point out the niche of a particular group. It is not so easy to know the niche about. Again and again, you have to go to the field, and you have to be a keen observer. You have to keep the magnifying glass with you. Whenever you will see the eyes and the 4 pairs of walking legs, then you have to go for that. This is not insect. It must be spider. And you have to set your eyes, and I think seniors are required to guide you. If you feel like, I'll also definitely.
Okay, one more question from me. I saw a spider
Yes.
and I found it was Oleus lamarcki, and from the Karbi Anglong district, Assam. And
Okay.
my field guide told me that the spider is very poisonous. Is that so? I didn't find any article
No.
regarding that.
No, the thing is, we have seen the caterpillar. When you touch the caterpillar, you will feel like itching and everything. We know snakes do possess the venom. It doesn't mean they are venomous. They contain their poison for their own prey killing. But it doesn't mean whenever we are touching the spider, it's becoming venomous to us. So they have their poison gland. Definitely, they can inject the poison on their prey or for their own protection. That is, there are two types of the poison. One is neurotoxic, another is hemotoxic, and most of the cases, old world spider, they have the neurotoxic venom too, and that is most important. But there is no such cases recorded due to spider bite. I should not say bite, that is, they're just pointing out with their fang, and no case has been recorded that person has died out of spider's poison. There might be some secondary infections along with the cellulitis due to maltreatment or anything else, but due to poison itself. For last from 2003, I am working with this group, and in field several times I have got it, and I don't want to, but it occurred, but it doesn't mean I'm yet I'm. But thing is that Latrodectus, Theridiidae, and Latrodectus, some groups are there who are poisonous, but it doesn't mean all spiders. They contain their venom, but if we touch the spider, it will inject us or it is venomous. Not that.
Okay, ma'am, we have questions from Paramita Majumdar. She is asking that which type of spider are most dangerous generally. I think you have covered the dangerous part. And the second question is that is the spider nets dangerous for our skin and eyes?
The thing is, anything which is outside, that is dangerous for it may be dangerous for our eyes. That is not an issue. The workers who work with, we usually use a cap and we remain careful, but not if you just touch the net or you have the net on your eyebrows or like that. It has no harm, because all arachnologists, we are doing like that, and this is a highly protein in nature, and that is not so harmful, not at all.
Okay. The next question is from Mr. Vigyan Datta. He is asking that, ma'am, there are
Yeah.
six-eyed spider and as well as eight-eyed spider. Like spitting spiders have 6 eyes, and I just wonder, is this the reduced eye do help them anyway? Ma'am, I also wondered that spitting spiders can spit the web on the prey. Is that any reason to reduce the eye number to provide the
No,
spitting organs of space in the head?
no. The thing is, number of eyes and their behavior, that is not comparable. Spiders do contain 2 to 8 in number. All are simple eyes. They are beset in different angles. So like insect, they have the compound eye, that is the ommatidium, and the ocelli. They can they're all eyes together. But here in case of spider, maybe it's 2 or 4 or 6 or 8. That is their family character. With that, spitting behavior, it is not. That is their morphology, and spitting behavior, that is their physiology. These two are not comparable. Depending upon the number of eyes the spider group possess, the classification is being done. The most important striking feature, the features they bear on their cephalothorax, the features they bear on their abdomen, the number of eyes and the eyes position, these are the striking features, and their epigynum, that is their reproductive organ, because most of the cases we get the female spider and males are rare, whereas in case of tarantula, that is a reverse reverse case, female remain inside the burrow and only the males come out of the burrow for in search of female. So the eyes are the characteristic feature of their group identification. These spitting spiders speed due to the lesser number of eyes, that is not. These group of spider, they are as good as like with 8-eyed spider. This is their family character and it is in everywhere, and with that no question of having spitting in.
Someone is asking that do spider have any role in the pest control agriculture? I think it is already discussed in the presentation.
Yes, definitely spiders have the role. And the thing is, I'll request all budding scientists who are here, the yet huge scope of work in this field is open and vacant. We can work together that how and what is the model, whether we can introduce spider as potential biocontrolling agent, keeping this thing in our mind that what type of crop it is, what are the insect they are going to attack, and what is the previous data on it, and how we can at least minimize more than 30% of the insect pest in the field during the activation period and the cultivation time by keeping naturally the spiders in the field. And I think this type of work should be done for the betterment of the West Bengal like agriculture based state.
Uh, Hello.
Hello.
Sorry, Upamanu, to interrupt
Yeah,
you. I
yeah,
have
please.
a question. Ma'am,
Yeah.
based on your experience and your observation, you have
Yeah.
said that spiders sometimes they do show aggression to their own conspecifics and other species also. So have you observed any resource partitioning or any avoidance between two groups of spiders? I mean, how do they utilize their niche separately or in a different way so that they don't have to come across each other? The avoidance part I'm talking about, and the resource partitioning. How do different species of spiders use different resources so that they can maximize their utilization?
Fine. For this, though I haven't shown in a single talk, it's impossible for me. But we have worked on, if we select a particular area or particular host, and we have documented number of genera under the family, number of species who are in the same host plant. Now question comes, sometimes they share their prey, like I'm giving one example, arenids, that is, say I'm talking about Neoscona. Neoscona, they make their enormous sized threads, and where in different areas the prey gets entangled due to sticky net pattern. Neoscona has their own preferential food. They utilize their prey which they prefer because it is their own domain, own natural abode, it is their own spinning. But we have documented some other small sized theridid or other arenids, when they come and they utilize the small sized prey in their net also, they never go for the quarrelsome. That means spiders, it's not like that they are just leaving their prey, but when they are getting their potential number of prey together, they avoid the conflict. And also we have got say opuntia like cactus tree, from where I have recorded number of species remain side by side. They have their different prey of different orders of insect, but having no conflict in them. We have given in that way that coexistence of spider in a single host, but it doesn't mean whether they have, but they have the cannibalism also. But when they get, as per my knowledge goes and in fieldwork I have seen, when the spiders get their enormous prey and their need is satisfied, they will never go for the next preying for another.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. We have one last question from Paramita Majumdar. She is asking that which are the most primitive spiders? I mean, the species or the family?
Okay. Before Paramita, I have discussed that Araneomorphae and Myglomorphae, that is Myglomorphae, old group of spiders, and Araneomorphae, that is a new world spider. This old group of spiders or old spiders, they include the Tarantula group of spider. Tarantula is a group name under which different families, more than 4 families are together. But with respect to evolutionary aspect, if we give a look to the evolution, most of the Myglomorphae in different areas, in different countries, they are the most primitive spiders. And I am giving one example as because I have worked on it. If we consider the case of West Bengal, that is Theraposid spider. Theraposidae is one family who are under the Tarantula group of spiders due to their aggression they show. This Theraposid spider genus is Chilobrachys sp. They came before us and they will even after we. So all Myglomorph spider, they are the primitive spiders, and out of their different group of different families remain in different habitat in their natural abode. I am just citing one example from West Bengal, that Theraposid spider under Tarantula group, that is Chilobrachys sp. from 1900, and before even that it has been recorded, but in West Bengal it is recorded in the year of 1900, and since then yet they are living and probably they will be. So they are the primitive group of spiders.
Uh, One more question, ma'am. How can we differentiate between Neoscona and Arenas? I often get confused just by seeing the dorsal pattern. Arrhenius and Neoscona.
Okay. Okay, it's a very good question, but I want to avoid this question in talk because being arachnologist, I will prefer Arrhenius and Neoscona. I want to keep the peak side by side so that I can give the differences in their pattern of cephalothorax, rowing cephalothorax, their orientation on the dorsum of the abdomen, and the eye pattern. Both are in the same group, correct? Different genus but under Arenidae, but this is not the way. And the epigyne we see, but in the field we don't see the epigyne, but in the field we show the gesture, the way it is on their own net, the thing, their abdomen is showing the cephalothorax pattern and the shape of the cephalothorax along with the depressions and the line of depressions on the cephalothorax. So I will request the learner who wants to know, please feel free to mail me so that I'll send 2 picked, and with that comparison I'll give the data of identifying both.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Yes, we have covered all the questions, I think. Yes, it was indeed a very informative session. Thank you, Dr. Rakira. Thank you, everyone, for your patient hearing. Stay connected for the next week's talk. Good luck and good night. Stay safe. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you all for giving me opportunity. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice time. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.